Hey, gun people, man. Uh, I was in Korea for a couple years. I used to keep kimchi all the time, and I was trying to find kimchi, and I was reading up on it, and supposedly it's really good for your antioxidants and good gut bacteria or whatever. So it's supposed to be a great food to snack on, and I like I said, I like kimchi. They made it a little too fishy in Korea, so I decided to make some kimchi. So this is going to be my kimchi making video, and then I'll let you know how it turned out. So this is a Napa cabbage. That's a regular purple cabbage. I got a jalapeno. I got a little bit of ginger. I'm going to grate some ginger. Got some green onions. A lot of people call them scallions. Got my garlic cloves in there. I'm going to chop up some garlic. And they say use like an Asian radish, but I couldn't find any radishes, so I'm just going to put a regular the red radish. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm going to cut all this up. First I'm going to get the cabbage, because cabbage is a little tough. You kind of make a brine. You put it in with some water and salt, and I'll show that next. And then you let it set for a few hours, and then you mix in the other ingredients and you make your little paste. And basically your paste, most people just put like garlic, ginger, little sugar, and hell, maybe some salt, and then they use some sort of fish oil or anchovy oil or something. I'm not using that. I went ahead and got a little bit of sesame seed oil, and I'm going to put a little bit of that in there. And I'm also adding a jalapeno because I like it spicy. And then with your paste also, you usually put crushed red pepper, which I use quite a bit, and it makes it spicy. So let me cut that cabbage up and get the brine going. Okay, so after I cut the cabbage, I had to get a second bowl. So that's just, I used half of the red cabbage and then the whole of the Napa cabbage. And then it says sprinkle some coarse salt, about 1/4 cup is what most, it's varied. This is just gonna like make a brine for this. And then you want to break down the cabbage with the salt. Yes, I washed my hands. Oh, you know what? I think I went to the bathroom. I forgot to wash them. Oh well. If anybody wants any of this kimchi, let me know. So you can tell it kind of get a good salt. I'm gonna put some of that over here because I still don't have enough mixing room in this bowl. So that's the biggest problem with this is getting the bowl. And now after I get the salt and everything on all the leaves, I'm going to add some water. And then when I add the water, they say put a plate or something on here and mash it down so it sits in the water. And I guess that brine does something, starts the fermentation or something. And some people say let it set for 1 to 2 hours. Other recipes call for it to set for 6 to 8 hours. So I'm going to let mine set for a good 4 to 6 hours after I put the water in here. And I can tell that it's kind of wilting it. I don't know if you guys can see that, but the salt is already wilting it. Or maybe that's because I was cleaning the horse stalls and I didn't wash my hands. Maybe that's wilting it. But anyway, so now I'm getting that good. I can really tell that the Napa cabbage is going down. Now this red cabbage, I've never seen a recipe where they use just regular red cabbage, but I'm thinking it's cabbage. And I've even got some green cabbage that I didn't use because this just got bigger than I wanted. And I think this will make maybe 2 or 3 jars. But now you can tell where I needed 2 bowls before, I'm kind of getting down to 1 bowl. And then once I add the water, I'm sure the wilting process will even go more. Alrighty. So, that kind of knocked it down good. Now I'm going to put that, I'm going to add some water and put a plate on top of this, and then put a jar or something on top of it and let it set for 6-8 hours in water with the salt and the lettuce. So this, I'll add some water here. And ideally, you want it to where it's all underwater. So that's not enough water, because it's not mashing down. Probably not enough salt either. Because I noticed that the salt, when I was doing it, wasn't, I'll just go ahead and sprinkle some more salt on there. Give it a couple more mixes, because I lost some of the salt on my hands, and now that I got the, man, all that water's gone. Holy cow. I put over a cup of water in there, and it's all gone. So I have to, according to this, you have to make it to where it's underwater. And that smells pretty good. Now you don't want to put your radishes in this yet, or your green onions, or your jalapenos, or all my other stuff that I'm going to add. You only want to do the cabbage. And I'll go ahead and add another cup of water in here and see if that gives me that gave me a little bit of water at the bottom. Wow, look at that water. Can you guys see that water? See if y'all are seeing that. It's like blue. I'm thinking it's the salt and the red cabbage. So this is really, I want to make sure and get everything I've read. It's really important to get every leaf good and washed with the salt water. Man, that water's really pretty. Look at that water. Ooh, shit. I made some pretty water. Alright, so you can tell how it's kind of wilted down and it's kind of gone down. See when I press, see that water coming up? So I'm going to add a little bit more water, give it another rinse job. I've got to have, that's key that you have all the water on top in order to, when you mash it down. There, that's what I wanted. See all that water coming through? That's going to make sure and get all my brine and everything really packed in there. I'll make a little hole in the middle there so you can see about where the water level is. And then when you pack it down flat, again, if you put some weight, that water should brine through. And I'm going to save some of that brine to add to my jar once I do it. Okay, so we got that there. Rinse the old hands off. Let me get some sort of plate. I didn't plan this, so I don't know what plate's going to work. Thinking this will be a, whoa, man, a little big. Darn. Guess I should have planned this better. Let's see what this one is. Oh, man, almost. Alright, so that plate ain't going to work either. So I'm going to have to go smaller, but I still want to make sure that the water's over it, like so. So now I need to put something heavy on there. What's heavy? Maybe a jar of peanut butter? A jar of peanut butter might work. Oh yeah, that'll work. So now I have all my cabbage under that water, and all the lettuce is covered. So that's going to sit for probably 4 to 6 hours. I'll let you know when I come back. It's about 11:30 now. I'll let you know when we do the next one. Okay, so it's been about 2 hours. Got my carrots cut up, got some onions and little radishes there. I had some more radishes over here cut up, put those in there. Got my ginger, that's going to go in my paste. These are just some of the leaves from the radishes. I figured I would just throw them in. The hell. I'm going to go ahead and cut up these just so I don't get a big piece of pickled hot pepper. I'm just going to try and maybe cut these in half. And just to shrink those sides down a little bit. I mean, if I want to quarter them, I can. but I kind of want to be able to get a piece of jalapeno and pick it out and have a piece of peppered jalapeno. So we're going to go ahead and slide that into our other veggies that are going in here. The ginger, the crushed red pepper, and the garlic, and a little bit of sugar is going to make this paste here. But before I get to that, I wanted to show you what the what this looked like. So I have this here, and what I noticed is this brining process, and after about an hour I went ahead and stirred it again, and this brining process really turned this cabbage into like rubber. It made it pretty rubbery. So now I have to rinse off all this salt water and brine. And you can kind of tell the color went away from that blue, and now it kind of that blue color that I had earlier. So all the cabbage and everything is in here. I need to rinse that and drain it, and then after I rinse and drain it, I'll add my other stuff. Okay, so now I got to mix in my little brown sugar, little fresh ground ginger, and some fresh garlic. I don't know how much garlic that is. I want to say 8-10 cloves, but I'm not into measuring. Garlic usually makes it taste pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and make this into a paste. This garlic, ginger, and I'm not adding any salt because it's been sitting in a brine. So I'm pretty sure that this is going to make a nice little paste and get all those flavors good. Start mixing in some of my crushed red pepper. Now this crushed red pepper, I tried grinding this before, and it doesn't grind down. It's not as fine as I would like it. But they say use Korean crushed red pepper because it's ground better. And then I made this, it's like some brown sugar flour, and I forgot what they called it. I thought she called it a porridge. Put a little flour and water and a little sugar in there, and that helps make your paste. And that's going to get spread all over that kimchi after I'm done. Oh, I smell that ginger. Kind of surprised I don't smell all that crushed red pepper. But I definitely smell that ginger. But got a good paste going. Alrighty. So I got some of that paste going there. I've been letting my kimchi drain pretty good. So it's in the drainer. Go ahead and dump it back into here. Man, that smells good. Just from the salt brine makes it smell pretty good. And then I need to mix in all of these, but I don't want this water in here. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to run out of room again. Because I got some onions, carrots, radishes, and my bowl's getting full. I'm going to have to be reaching in for the other bowl. Jalapenos. Ooh, this is going to be some good fermentation stuff there. I did save a little bit of the brine in case I need to add to the jar. And now they said you probably And again, once I start mixing this, these vegetables are going to kind of blend in with the cabbage. And you're going to get all those good looking colors. Let me move this out of the way so you guys can see this. And you're going to get all these nice colors in this kimchi. Wow, that's smelling pretty good. But the texture of the cabbage is pretty cool right now, because almost like rubber. You know, normally cabbage is kind of stringy. It's already turned into kind of rubbery. And now I got to start. Now they said you should wear gloves for this part because of all the crushed red peppers. And I was going to say screw it and not wear gloves. But I'm thinking I should wear gloves because that crushed red pepper looks like. Let me get some crushed. Let me go get some gloves on. Okay, so I'm going to start mixing this up now. I tried to put this glove on when it was wet, and you can tell my fingers won't go in. So let's go ahead and get all this paste in here and start rubbing this kimchi down with all this good nutrients. Look at that. Man. So that's my paste. And I'm going to go ahead and, because I don't want to lose any of that. Let me get this thing here and scrape this nice and clean. Hopefully I'm in the camera. I can't see it. There you go. That looks pretty clean. And we'll go ahead and scrape this guy off. Make sure he's nice and clean, other than what I'm rubbing on the top. Alright, so let's get this kimchi good and layered with this paste. I don't know if I'm going to have, if I made too much without the paste. I mean, you want it good and coated. But I guess I just got to keep mixing. Man, that's starting to smell like kimchi. Now remember, this is my first kimchi making project, so if there's some Korean man or woman out there that tell me how I'm messing up, by all means, hook me up, because I figured I would try it, because they want like freaking $30 for like a half a pound of this. If you go online to Amazon, you can order some kimchi that's already made, and they want like $10 for shipping, and I guess it's because it's got to be cold, and or it's got to be refrigerated. But kimchi is, I mean, I thought kimchi in Korea, I thought they made like a winter kimchi that was it was set out buried in the ground. I thought I heard somebody is how they made it. So I'm not seeing near enough red peppers in there. Ooh, doggies. Now everybody's going to think that this is going to be really hot because of the red peppers, but during the fermentation process, I think it takes some of the heat out. And it's not near as hot as you'd think it would be. And what I'm trying to do is make sure that every leaf and every piece of vegetable in here has got a good, some of this paste. I know people are like, dude, that's too much red pepper. Hey, if your nose ain't running when you're eating kimchi, then it ain't good. And the Koreans, man, they make some hot kimchi. Let me tell you. They had, I mean, sometimes I would be like, holy shit. That was some hot kimchi. Alright, maybe I'll I'll chill on the red pepper. Although I'm not really smelling it, and normally you would be smelling it. And you can tell it's kind of, if I'm in the camera, which I think I am, you can tell it's kind of going away and disappearing. Now, I'm going to put a little bit of that brine, although I'm not sure I'm supposed to, just to give me a little bit more, as I'm maneuvering this around, the juices that are sticking at the bottom. Yeah, that's making a little bit more kind of soupy and spreading this out a little bit. Yeah, so see, that's really, that's breaking down. Hell, it almost looks like kimchi now. But normally when I eat kimchi, it's a, it's very, like every piece is like this, very flimsy. And it's coated. And hopefully in this fermentation process, it's going to be a little bit more, because this almost seems like it's a little dry to me. And I hope it isn't. Maybe I should have stuck with measurements instead of just winging it. Alright. So I'm thinking that's pretty good. So now I'm going to get a little jar. See if that jar's in here. Alright, I think the jar's. And basically you just fill this jar up. Get some carrots in there. Radishes and the key, they said, is you really want to pack this down tight to where there's no air at all. So, and you notice when I pack it down, the juices kind of come to the top. And I think that's what you want. But you want to leave about 1 inch from the top. So I think I'm good here. I'm going to pack this down. Oh man, look at all that juice that came out when I packed. Whoo! So maybe I got a little too much there. You want everything below the juice line for the fermentation. So I think I'm good to go here on this little jar. I'm going to go ahead and give it a good little packing anyway. And I'm just mashing with my thumb. Oh yeah. Okay. And now I'll just take this little lid, and this is a jar that my sister makes figs, and when she sends me figs, I keep the jar. Now, you don't want to put this really tight, they said, because if you squeeze it down tight, when this starts fermenting, the jar can blow up. So you want to give it enough room to leak out, which is why you want to set this on a plate, so as this leaks out and it ferments, it gives a place for it to escape. So this is going to be jar 1, and I'm going to do the rest of the jars, and let's see if I can turn this off without getting freaking and of course, not following recipes, I forgot my damn green onions. So I had to add I had to dump it all out. I left one with no green onions, but I dumped out the other 3 jars I had because I got to do the green onions. So the thick onion part, I go kind of thin, and then the other long leaves green onions I kind of like, so you can like pick them up and eat them. So I almost forgot that, and I think all good kimchi need green onions. So that's okay. I got one with no green onions. I'll see if it changes the taste. And it'll give me a good a good mixer. And you know what? That first one, I think I'm going to do a little more red pepper. Because I don't... This doesn't seem like it looks that hot to me. I know somebody's going to be like, dude, that's too much. Nah, we'll see. Alright. Now we got a good mixture of green onions, and those green onions turn out really good. Woo! Almost cut my toe off. Alright, so let me finish bottling those up. Okay, so it looks like it made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full jars and a half jar. And that's how it turned out. The lids are not on tight, and I need to get that on a plate so as it ferments. And I've heard different things. Leave it out 2 days, 3 days, 5 days. The longer you leave it, supposedly the better the fermentation process works. I'll probably leave it at least 3 to 4 days. And it'll still ferment when you put it back in the refrigerator. It just doesn't do it as much because that's why we put things in the refrigerator. It reduces spoilage and it slows down the decay process. So I'll leave it out for probably 4 days. And let's see, it's 4 o'clock. And you know, I don't know how long it took me to make this, but it was a fun little project, and we'll see how it turns out. Hopefully it turns out pretty good, because I've got all this kimchi that I got to do something with it now. So, and I mean, this lasts you, because you saw me packing it so tight and pushing down so hard. It lasts a long time. I mean, one jar, you can get a good, you know, 4 or 5 helpings out of each jar. So, but anyway, I made my first kimchi, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the process. And if there's some Korean out there that can tell me how I screwed it up, I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't know what they're doing that'll be telling me how I screwed it up. But I'd like to hear from somebody who actually knew what they were doing. All right, well, in that there, I might post this on both the Horsey and Gun channel, because, I don't know, maybe people are interested in both. Well, in it there.